What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. By singing dog. By goal.
I pronounce you.
By wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this, I wanted to say afternoon edition, but it's not quite afternoon, is it? Well, it's about 11:30 where I'm located. Welcome to everyone who is listening in. I'm not quite sure if everybody got all the information. I have tried to post up as much as humanly possible about today's double duo interview, meaning my interview at 11:30, which is going to be with the amazing Steele, or at least so I'm hearing he's amazing. And yes, I've heard his music, and yes, I've heard his publicist talk about him. And then, of course, at 1:30, we're going to be doing Jose Prendez, which, of course, I'm so excited about. Writer, producer, director, man after my own heart. That's all I can say. So without further ado, I don't want to keep him holding on the line too much because honestly he intimidates me, and I'm afraid that if I keep him holding too long, he might get a little flustered. So let's start a conversation with Steele and find out all about who this man is. Hello?
Hi there, how are you?
You were listening, weren't you?
I was listening, yeah.
Shit. The moment that your guest is listening and you're thinking, he's not really listening, and oh, look, you were listening. So you heard that little bit about the intimidation thing, huh?
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. I work hard.
Yeah, you guys are so intimidating. It's sickening. Every time Deborah sends me somebody, I'm like, oh, it's very nerve-wracking. She has some quality people that she brings to me a lot, and so I know that when she tells me one of her people are coming on, I get very excited, and I get very nervous, you know. I mean, if I scrub, she's going to holler at me. A lot.
Yeah, right.
I have to make sure I do my job. I'm very, very nervous. So welcome to the show. I was looking at you yesterday. You're an interesting looking fella.
Yeah, I'm different.
I don't even know how else to say it, but I have a whole show dedicated to bikers. So, you know, when I look at you, I think to myself, oh, look, he's like, you know, most of the guys from the other shows. For your repertoire, for your line of work, well, we'll get into that because I have questions related to this. So you're probably like a hunk, right? Like they're all like everywhere you go, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm kind of modest. I don't really notice.
Hint, he's not going to say the words, I'm a chick magnet, now are you? Because you have to be a total chick magnet, because you guys are totally like that. He's got muscle, you have tats, and women seem to love ink nowadays, and you have a voice, because yes, I've actually listened to you, and I've actually watched you, and I'm sure many women have actually. In fact, I was impressed. I'm going to talk about you a little bit, if you don't mind. If you give me 30 seconds, I want to read this little ditty that I put together here. I myself, me personally, I've always been captured with this intrigue by these one-name musicians, meaning, of course, Cher, we all know is my favorite, Enya, Sting, just to name a few. Obviously, today's guest, you have a name, and it's just Steele. Now, I've been told I shouldn't ask, so should I bother asking you what the significance is? Because I think I might have figured it out, but I could be wrong. So if you're not going to tell me, you can tell me that you won't tell me.
Will you tell me what?
Well, okay, this is a guess, and we're going to get into this discussion a little later on in the interview, but my guess is this. Typically, people always give themselves a name that's significant to them for some reason. Obviously, otherwise you wouldn't give yourself a name. For instance, people call me Sin. There's great significance to why people call me Sin, and that's a very personal thing to me. My guess is that the name Steele, and it's Steele with an E, by the way, not just Steele as an S-T-E-E-L, which I found a little different. My guess is this might have something to do with the fact that
Hello? Hello? Are we there?
Well, hi, kids. Apparently I'm back on the air. I have no idea what the heck happened there. We were just about to find out, or trying to find out the significance to his first name, and then somehow we both ended up cut off. I have no idea. My call just got dropped, and now I've just lost him, so I'm going to keep babbling. Oh, looks like we got him back, so hold on a second.
Hey.
Well, that was odd, wasn't it? That was weird.
Yeah, it was.
I was like talking to you, and we were gone. I mean, I tell you, I love Blog Talk Radio, but I don't love Blog Talk Radio because the same thing happened to a friend of mine who does it on the same format, and it's very frustrating. Trying to have a professional interview and think you're gone, but you're back. So hi again. Okay, let's try this one more time.
Sure.
I'm going to guess. This is my best educated guess. I'm going to say it's Steele with an E, therefore I'm going to guess as this goes back to, and we're going to talk about this, the ideology that your father kind of instilled in you, which is nothing gets handed to you. Obviously, you have to earn everything. So my guess is that this is representative of trials, tribulations, things that you've gone through in your life, meaning tough as steel, hard as steel, something along those lines. I'm so not right, am I? I was just thinking.
No, you are right. Absolutely.
Yes! Yes!
Yes, absolutely.
Score!
I actually have a single that'll be coming out this year that is titled "I'm Steele," and that tune kind of sums up the whole Steele thing. It's kind of when I was a kid, I was kind of made fun of because I listened to country music while everybody else was listening to like AC/DC and Twisted Sister, and so the whole Steele thing is my kind of take on bullying. And, you know, the complete opposite of, like, you know, Taylor Swift's song, Mean, Why Do You Gotta Be So Mean? Well, mine is like, well, that's life, okay? It's not just in school. It's not just when you're a kid. It's when you are at work, like, there's always the bully, and you need to prepare yourself for that and, you know, and face your problems as Steele, right?
Look at that. Holy man. Does everybody, like, take a stab at this? Did they get it? Have I been one of the few successful ones? I don't want to claim.
You're the first one.
This just so made my day. Yeah.
Everyone else thinks it's all about the tattoos, and, yeah, I know it's deep.
Sorry. See, I'm a deep kind of gal. Deborah will tell you that. I'm way deep. I'm, like, so deep it's ridiculous. In fact, this interview is, like, the highlight of my day, so let's hope you make my day in the next 40 minutes because I got to tell you the rest of it's kind of crap. That's not true. I have another interview today I'm even more excited about. Not that I'm not excited about you, but I love back-to-back interviews. And both of you guys are very talented, only he's a director and you're obviously not. But it's nice. It's nice to have you, and I'm getting a little less nervous, so we'll keep talking and it'll get easier, I think. I wanted to say that I'm pretty certain that I don't have to guess as to why all the guys and the gals are all gaga over you. Obviously, your looks are lovely, and you should know that if you don't already. Obviously, the build very brawny, and your sound is, for lack of a better term, and don't take this the wrong way, I found it gruff, meaning when you listen to someone, you know, you get a perception of them by looking at them, and then you listen to the music, and you're like, yeah, this is really deep. I mean, deep sounding, real gruff sounding, for lack of a better term. And, of course, who could resist such a marvel of music? Because you're standing in front of people and you're performing as such, and you look the way you are and you act the way that you do. There's a comparison that I brought up that I found in listening to your music, which is, have you been told before that you sound like Brooks and Dunn?
Yes. Absolutely.
Damn. I guess that wasn't original. Okay. And would you concur with that?
I would, yeah. They were one of my teachers for sure. For sure. I've gotten Trace Atkins. I've gotten Brooks and Dunn. Okay. That's about it, because the other mainstream artists like Aldine and Brian and Air Church, they've all got that real southern, you know, nasal drawl, which I don't have because I'm Canadian. Yeah, so I don't have that mainstream kind of nasally country drawl about me. I have the kind of rough. Yeah, you described it really well. Gruff.
Okay. This is good. This is good. You know what? And for lack of a better term, I know some people might think to themselves, you know what, that sounds offensive. And it's certainly not meant to be. You know, sometimes when you listen to a sound of somebody, you don't want to sound like, I mean, to me it's a compliment if somebody says, oh, yeah, you're the next Howard Stern, the female Howard Stern. Well, that's all fine and good, but I'm not Howard Stern. I don't act like him. I don't sound like him. So it's a compliment, yes, because they're well established, but you want to set the tone. And you're setting your own tone, of course. So the first monumental question I want to ask you is, I got a guy on my phone here who looks like a biker, who's built like a mother, for lack of a better term, because a lot of my friends are fitness trainers, and they're all like big and buff like you are, and I'm just like, you know what, get a life, get out of the damn gym, whatever. But okay, fine. So, you know, I look at you, and I listen to the sound, and I'm just like, what the heck? You know, your physical presence would infer that you've got the look and the style of basically a classical rocker, because, like, if you look at some of the classic guys out there, like you know, we'll talk about Leonard Skinner a little bit, you just don't fit it. You're not the country guy. To me, you're the classic rocker guy. So how'd you end up where you are? I mean, it just seems contradictory to me. Follow?
Yeah, I do. You know, I've always, from a young age, I've been addicted to tattoos. For the past 10 years, I've taken bodybuilding really seriously. Like, I'm at the gym twice a day, Monday to Friday, and then once a day on the weekends. So I don't miss a day ever. On Christmas, I sneak into hotels and use their gym. And yeah, but you know, I grew up with my mom listening to country music. My dad was a commercial fisherman, so he spent 3 and 4 days at a time out in the boat. So it was always whatever mom was listening to. So it was like Patsy Cline, Loretta Lynn, the Judds. Like, those were some of my early teachers. And country's always been a part of. Like, I love country music. Like, there's always a story. There's always, you know, whether it's sad or happy or, you know, great love or whatever, there's always, you know, a resolve. There's a start, a chorus, a finish, a resolve to the song. And, you know, I find country music is about heart and about soul and about people like me who grew up in the country or on the ocean, or, you know, we can relate to family morals and values and work ethic, and that was country music, and it was instilled in me. That's why I started to write. And then, yeah, I'm this 6-foot, 230-pound bodybuilder that's full of tattoos from head to toe, with a beard, and, you know, I wear the, I got the toque, I'm rocking the toques now. Toques are my new thing, with, you know, like my rosary beads on, and it's total, like, literally, it's like gangster singing country, and people are like, what the hell is going on here? Like, it doesn't fit. Well, that's okay. That's good. You know, it needs to change. You know, everyone doesn't need to wear a cowboy hat. Everybody doesn't need to wear a plaid shirt. Like, you know, that's not who I am, and I'm not going to change, you know, for a label or for the industry ever. You know, you've watched my music videos. Like, okay, this is crazy. Like, this guy shouldn't be singing the country song, right? But why not?
Yeah. That's exactly right. My God, it just occurred to me 3 seconds ago, Deborah, and I know you're listening. Now I know why you're handling him. That answer right there was it right there. You have a very similar personality to myself and Deborah. We're going to get along very, very well. As long as you can handle me being a smart ass, we'll be fine. Question.
Yeah.
Do you feel, and this is just a personal opinion question, do you think you might be representative of the new-looking country? And by that I mean, obviously, of course, I'm noticing the trend being a lot of the guys having more expressive arts, meaning not only being more expressive on stage, but, of course, the tattoos and the other things like that. Marshall Dane was on my show the other day, and he looks, you know, he's got that Leif Garrett look, you know what I mean? You all seem to be having this same similar look recently. So, I mean, are you reflective of things to come, meaning the country scene, the country look is changing, not only on stage but off stage? Make sense?
Absolutely. You know, I think, you know, like, change is good. The new is good. And to be part of new and what's coming already is good. You know, someone's going to change it. Why not be me or, you know, or whoever? You know, just you got to, with a new product and a new, you know, I am a product and, you know, it's a market that we're in. You know, different can be bad, but different is what people want too. You know, and it's half-half. My target market at my age is middle-aged housewives, you know, which is a good thing for me. Where I am at my age, you know, in my early 30s, mid-30s, that middle-aged housewives aren't, for the most part, attracted to 21, 25-year-old boys. They're attracted to men, which gives me an advantage over, say, you know, Hunter Hayes, right? You're not going to see a middle-aged housewife, you know, who God knows, well, maybe some you will, you know, but there's a lot of, you know, guys that are, you know, oh, let's, you know, go for a walk and have a picnic under a tree, and then there's the guy like, okay, we need to romp on the tractor. You know, middle-aged housewife wants that guy too in country music. If you know what I'm saying.
Yes, I do. It's interesting. I just keep hearing you say middle-aged housewife, and I'm like, does this dude know how old I am? Because I could be construed as middle-aged right now, and I have to tell you that what I find to be rocking is actually a musician, but, you know, he's not some 30-year-old. He's 46 years old, and
Right.
Canadian, as a matter of fact. So, no, I get exactly what you're talking about, and I think that anything that's new and interesting and intriguing that doesn't follow the norm, per se, like in your particular case, is going to be attractive to any woman. I think women like change and spontaneity and surprise and mixing it up a little bit. You like a nice guy that looks like a bad boy. I think it's been said a million times over, and that's the bottom line. I mean, you just do, and you'll capture more attention that way. But you're not an idiot. You know that, obviously. Case in point, which is on my show right now, because you're on my show.
Yeah, right. I'm a big teddy bear inside, but I look like a badass, you know. On the outside, for
yes,
sure.
You do.
You know, and I don't intend to, like, you know, when I'm at the gym and I'm working out, I'm focused and dedicated. Have a lot of people talk to me, and then, you know, once, you know, we bump into each other, like, hey, how you doing? You know, they're like, oh, you're a nice guy. It's like, okay, yeah, I've always been a nice guy. Oh, you're just kind of intimidating, and, you know, I may thought, you know. And so, you know, not that that's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just, I guess it's just an image and a personification of who I am.
I know. It's enough to scare me, thank you very much. So I'm going to say I was intimidated for the last half hour before I got on the line. I'm like, oh, my God, this guy's totally going to flirt with me. Totally nervous right now. I'm getting over it. I told you, question by question, it's getting easier. And, Deborah, you owe me one for this one. That's all I'm going to say. I want to touch on this subject a bit. Well, what do you expect? She puts me on the air with somebody who's intimidating to me, and now I got to suck it up for 60 minutes. So, heck yeah, she owes me one. I'm a big believer. And I choose to believe, of course, that for each particular person, whoever one opts to idolize will help to mold the eventual sound of an artist. Like, for instance, that's any artist. You know, I am obviously influenced by certain writers, and therefore I try to incorporate some of them into my own works. Same case in point, I'm guessing, with you, meaning I know that you've said in the past that you enjoy the works of famed fellows such as Keith Urban, Leonard Skinner. But what I was truly in awe with is that you actually have an adoration for the same person that I love, which is Etta James. First of all, it's shocking to me that this is even the case, because I'm like, you have a leaning towards such a lyricist, and I had to ask the question, what, in your personal opinion, makes her stand out in your mind, and in what way, if you have you tried to adopt any of that kind of sound that she's got into any of your music?
Number one, her voice and the deliverance of songs by her. Her vocals are just phenomenal. But just like I find with, you know, Keith Urban and Etta James, it's just like the emotion that's in their voice, like it's so convincing to the listener that they're not full of crap. Like they are the song. What they're singing will, you know, make you feel good. It'll make you bawl your eyes out. It's like when someone can do that, that's, to me, a great artist. You know, or, you know, an artist that can stand up on stage like Garth Brooks and sing a song and start to cry and be man enough to cry. Because then, believe me, 97% of people in the audience are bawling their eyes out too. That's real. I agree. You know, that's real emotion. And with Etta James, I mean, in every song she sings, it's amazing. So much emotion and compassion, and I mean, the lyrics are just unreal.
Yes, she's got my wedding song on that. Oh, go ahead.
Some of that soul and mix it, you know, with some of my tunes on my album. There's a tune called Do You Really Have to Go, which I think we're going to be releasing as a single this year as well. There's one called Choose Me Again. And they've got that Billy Currington, kind of Jared Neiman, you know, the R&B kind of soul with country fusion, which is a great, you know, they're good cruising tunes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do. I don't think I'm too old to remember cruising. I think I can remember that. Yes. So, sorry, I'm a big-time pistol. She should have warned you that, you know, when you come on this show, there's nothing that's off limits. I pretty much talk about everything, and I'm like, I laugh at myself continuously, and I expect you to laugh at me. Otherwise, we're not doing successful here. Which reminds me, I don't want to forget to ask a really important question. So what the hell's your nationality? I've been staring at that picture, and I've seen you in different looks, and I'm thinking to myself, what is this guy? So what are you? This is just a curiosity question. I just want to know.
German Irish.
I knew it. I'm Irish too. You know those Irish people. So I'm betting you're getting excited because what, St. Patrick's Day is what, 2.5 weeks away? I have it like marked down hour by hour by hour. I'm kidding, of course not. I would never drink, at least not more than once a day. Okay, thank you for satisfying that. Because I would have pegged you for Greek/Italian because you know you got that dark thing going. You know, like you look like you've got darker skin and all this. You know what I'm saying? You know,
I always
get
Greek. I always get Italian.
Really?
And then when people are like, oh, you're not Italian, you're not Greek, I'm like, no, I'm German-Irish. They're like, oh, okay.
And I am surprised. I am. I'm a little surprised by that. But, I mean, that's not a bad thing, first, like I said, because I'm an Irish woman myself. So this is good. I want to switch perspectives a little bit because we kind of started. Do you think so?
Well, yeah, it's like an impatient alcoholic, right?
He said it, by the way. See, now I was tempted, but I was trying to be good, and damn it, man, he just had to go in that direction. Yes, that's exactly what it is. I'm German, Irish, French, and Scottish. That shouldn't shock anyone if you know me well enough. And what up with you not having a personal Facebook page? Every person I interview, I always go to the personal page, and I'm like, how am I supposed to research you if you don't even have a page? What is that?
I do. I have a personal page.
Yeah? Really?
Yeah.
Well, nobody gave me the 911 or 411. I guess I'm not special enough to be your friend. Ouch.
Oh, no, definitely have to send that.
A little late now, isn't it, buddy, because you're on the show. But, okay, I'll get over it. If this interview is not 100%, it's because I wasn't your friend. Don't you know that I do this? I actually creep on people's pages. This is what makes for a better interview. I know that people don't know this, but it's true. I don't know the heart of you unless I actually get to see part of you. Like that one?
Right.
That was a good one. I'm writing that down. Okay. I want to step back to what we were kind of talking about earlier, which was, of course, the mentality you kind of learned from little on, which is everything is to be earned and nothing is just given to you. So there's a couple questions I have in retrospect to this. That ideology and carrying it around in your life, how has that changed you on a personal and professional level, meaning living by that ideology?
It's made me, realize young that every day there's a hurdle or a challenge or a test or, in my case, every 5 minutes or every hour. And that's life. It's kind of, deal with it. And that's what you have to do is deal with it and move forward and dream and succeed. And your biggest failure will be yourself. If not,
sure.
The only person to really stop you from success is yourself.
Okay.
And that's just
I agree with that, definitely.
That's how I live, and that's what I believe, and,
Oh, sure. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Secondary question to that, because, of course, to those of you that don't know, at the meager age of 8 was when you sat down to write your very first song. So I wanted to ask you, were you already kind of pushing yourself towards self-earned success right then and there, meaning like, I know how I am at a young age. I was a perfectionist right from the get-go. Like, whatever I make, whatever I create, it's got to be cast on. Were you kind of the same way when you were first starting out? Because at 8, you're kind of young and, obviously just beginning.
Well, I wrote my first song at 8, and I was the kid that would, if there was a snowstorm coming, you knew the night before that school might be canceled, and as kids are up in the morning listening to the radio and being like, yeah, school's canceled, snow day, and I was the kid with the radio like, school's canceled, get the shovel, driveways, $3 a piece, I can probably do like 15 or 20, that's like $60.
Okay.
And I always got us a paper route and, had, just always worked. Like, it was instilled in me like my dad. Yeah.
Of
like
course.
the German work.
That makes perfect
right?
sense. Oh, yeah. My God, yes. Like you wouldn't believe it. It's like a workhorse or a work mule is what I would say. That's what I call myself. I'm married to my laptop this week. I think I've said that for about 6 months now. I'm getting a little old and tired of getting married to this laptop, so it's a little nuts. But when you get to that point, because I'm under the presumption, of course. Oh, wait, you know what? We're going to wait on that question. We'll wait till we get to the goods, because we will get to the goods. So we'll skip along that and come back to it. Talk to us a little bit about, this is another component. I've had musicians on both sides of the fence on this show, some of which have been tuned and talented, meaning they started from young on, had musical training, and continued on in education, so on and so forth. Some of which had no musical training at all. Now, 2 things there. First of all, tell us a bit about where you learn part and parcel as it relates to singing, and then second of all, how important important do you feel it is to be finely tuned musically, meaning tons and tons of education, or do you think life experience is enough for you or any musician out there to just say, hey, I have a dream, I have a passion, I'm going at it?
Okay. So first part of the question was, I was more focused on the second part.
Your background. Were you listening?
My background was.
Yeah, as it relates to learning.
I taught myself how to play the guitar when I was 8, and then I taught myself how to play the piano when I was 14. How I learned to sing was from listening to Patsy Cline, Dolly Parton, the Judds, then Garth Brooks, Randy Travis, Keith Urban. Those are my teachers. All of those kind of, because I sang women because of my mom listening to them and being young, and I could actually nail Crazy by Patsy Cline at 8 years old because I hadn't hit puberty yet, which was great that I learned with women first because my range is so vast. I can sing really, really low, or I can sing pretty high. I can do Bruno Mars too, no problem. So I'm grateful to have that I taught myself that way. And I've never had a musical lesson. Put a sheet of music in front of me and it's a Greek. And I write all my own tunes. I write my songs and my music together. I know chords. I know, style. I know all of, and it's just how I taught myself. I can sit down at the piano and, 30 seconds figure out what song, if it's someone else's song, I can play it. And it's just all been by ear for me, which I've been very fortunate, but definitely is a gift.
Right.
As to the second part about, I guess for me with songwriting is you hone your craft by writing with hit writers, which I've been very fortunate to do in Nashville. Before I was actually called you, I was talking to my friend Karen Steele, who wrote Keeper of the Stars, down in Nashville, because I'm actually going in to record that song in a couple weeks here in Hamilton, and we were just talking about some of the details and stuff. And, I wrote with Don Goodman, who wrote Old Red for Blake Shelton, so Sarah Majors, who's written for, Michelle Wright, and so there's some big names that I fell into, which I was very lucky to fall into that group of people, because you just don't. And then you write with them once, and they're like, I'd like to write with you again. That was a huge validation for me, that what I was working towards my whole life, because these are accomplished hit writers, when they say, I want to write with you again, it's huge. That's what, that's exactly what it's like getting a #1 hit, as a songwriter. Wow. And so for that, I've learned, you learn from each other when you write a song, because it's 2 people or it's 3 people back and forth, and you both agree on it, and that's the collaboration. I do write a lot of stuff by myself. As for vocal training, never had any. I really put myself out there when I say this. I can tell when someone's trained vocally and when someone's not. And I'm going to, this is not to be a, dig at anyone. Someone who's taught themselves how to sing has way more emotion in their voice than someone who's been taught to sing. The person who's been taught to sing is thinking about it as they're singing. So they're focused. Okay, so if it's 20% or 30% or 40% of thinking about what they're singing, that's taken away from the 100% heart. Where someone who's not trained just can do it, they open their mouth and it just falls out. Right?
Right. Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about. Some of my best friends have no vocal training. And I'm a person who prefers the emotion. Well, I'm a very emotional chick, so the more emotion you give me, the more I'm a gaga over you. And I'm like, I will give you anything, 100%. I just did that. I think music is all about emotion. Well, again, like I said, what can I say? I want to, in fact, and it's funny, I want to go to the composing part of things that was kind of leading to my next question here. Composing creations which are compatible to one's audience must be challenging, because I know that you have stated before, of course, that you want the audience to be able to relate to your music. So do you think that fans or followers ever, first of all, have they ever approached you and said to you, you know what, this is something very close to my heart, could you maybe put something together, et cetera, et cetera? And then second of all, address to me, which is more of a factor in your writing, meaning is it basically a lot of life components or life events that have happened to you? Has it been based on love? Has it been based on tragedy? Maybe talk a little bit about that.
I guess, you know, I have had people come to me and say, you know, back in 2000, a lady approached me. She said, you know, it's International Year of the Volunteer, and this is back in Halifax. And she said the Halifax Volunteers Association, you know, if you ever thought about writing a song, the volunteers. And so that was on a Friday night at about 7:30 at my restaurant. And then Saturday afternoon, I called her and I said, I've had a song for you. And then I went in to record it, and it was called I'll Be There. And a year later, it was after my big performances in Vietnam that I did some benefit concerts. It was actually chosen to be the theme song for the United Nations International Year of the Volunteer. I flew to Bonn, Germany, and met Kofi Annan, the Secretary General. I played in Beethoven's church for European royalty, and then they had a big reception for me in Beethoven's house, which is pretty cool to like sit and play Beethoven's piano in his church. The United Nations owns the building, so the only way you can get in there is with the United Nations. So there's been very few people that actually have played Beethoven's piano. So that was kind of a huge deal. Went a little bit right of the question. Second thing, yeah, it's radio.
Go ahead.
It's live.
Yes.
When I write, I can sit. I don't like to sit and think about writing. I will pick up my guitar. I'll play some of my old stuff. I'll play a Miranda Lambert tune or a Keith Urban tune, which The House That Built Me by Miranda Lambert is one of my favorite songs in the entire world. And, you know, songs just 45 minutes later, they're written, and I'm like, wow. You know, this is, maybe it's about me, maybe it's not, right? There's a song on my album called Remember Me, and it's about a couple who, the wife has Alzheimer's, she's older. I've never had a grandparent with Alzheimer's, you know, grandmother, grandfather, and I just sat one night and I wrote this song. And sometimes you don't know where they come from, you know, and you're just like,
I agree.
And then sometimes you do. So, yeah, it's, you know, when you have the gift to write song, it comes in waves. Like you can sit and try to write a song and, you know, it'll take you 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and you maybe not finish it. Those ones I don't usually finish. If when I sit and write a song and 45 minutes, an hour later, it's done, then I know that's a good song.
Right.
You know,
gotcha. No, I agree. I know
exactly. Feel in your session and in your collaboration, and you stay on that same plateau and peak when you're writing, right to the end, to the last, to writing the bridge, and you're done and you feel great, and you're like, this is a good song, then it's a good song.
I know
exactly. For me, that's
I totally get it. I think writers in general are kind of like that. I think that the more on the mark we are with elongating, and I'm trying to learn how to not elongate because I'm a perfectionist, so I kind of change everything repeatedly, with the exception of how I do my show scripts. That will never change. And I've never given the secret away on that one, but there's a secret to why this ends up being as good as some people think it is. Let me just put it that way. Okay, I have to ask this question, and again, this is huge sarcasm, and you're probably going to hate it, but I don't care because the name on this show is mine so far. I'm curious as to whether you think you'll ever end up being the subject or have been the subject of a ballad yourself, meaning, I don't know, I thought Achy Breaky Heart came to mind the minute I saw your face. So I'm like, I wonder if any women have gone out and written a song about him that you know of.
No, not that I know of. No. Not yet.
So you're a nice guy. Yeah, I was going to say, so you're a nice guy, aren't you? This is a good answer. Wonderful. Okay.
Well, I
want to flip
perspective.
Well, the thing is, you know, again, I think a lot of it is, you know, you take a guy who's got all the tats and who's got, you know, the bodybuilding, and then you've got, honestly, if you really looked at yourself, like if I was sitting in front of you right now, I'd totally be intimidated. I mean, you know, obviously I can control the floor more because you're not in front of me, but look at your pictures sometimes. You can look very staunch and very stern, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever, buddy. But that's just me. Again, maybe I'm just looking at you the wrong way. You know what I mean? You just, and again, you're used to looking at me.
I do.
I'm not used to looking at you.
It's like it's an image thing. You know, you ask Deb. I'm, you know, a big suck. I'm a big teddy bear on the inside, and then outside, it's, you know, it's like that image kind of, you know, mystery. That, you know, that look of, I can't read him right now. Well, that's good because that's Steele. You know, that's, I don't know what he's thinking. Well, you'll know when he sings or when he talks. You know, that's
exactly.
It's
song. And I'll know when I come and visit because I am coming to visit. So I'm hoping that I'll be standing in front of your presence and being very afraid. So I don't know if that will happen. See, you know, if I could, I guess my feeling is I'm going to stand in front of you, and you're Canadian, right? So we've gotten to that part of the show, and Deborah's probably heard me say this 100 times before, and she probably hates that I do it, but I'm going to do it one more time because every interview gets me one step closer to what I want. And you're Canadian, so you're going to help me. This is what I've been trying to do. I have been spending a damn year, and I mean one solid year, trying to get one interview and one dinner date with just one person, and he's Canadian. Now, I realize that he's a little higher up on the food chain, of course, so I'm like, okay, so you're Canadian, so give me the key here. I've been trying to attract the attention of Kiefer Sutherland.
Okay.
I don't think it's too much to ask. It's one date, okay? I've interviewed people that have worked next to him, on the set with him, that have met him in person. I'm like, what do I have to do to get this guy's attention? What is it with you Canadians? I mean, you probably haven't seen what I look like. I know I'm 44. Dude's 46, 47. But, hello, help me out here. Give me something. Oh, my God. Really? See, I'm never going to get to him at this rate. What the hell is wrong with my guests? I got to get somebody on here that, like, I don't know.
Toronto Film Festival. That's where you'll get them.
Really? You think so?
Yeah, the Toronto Film Festival. They're, you know, it's Canada. There's not a lot of fears. There's like, you know, Keanu Reeves is walking around, and yeah, it's pretty calm and cool. Like the art scene in Toronto is quite large, and when they do the film festival, it's, you know, everybody's just out and about, so might be able to.
Well, I kind of figured that, and I contemplated, and I didn't get a chance to tell Deb this because we're very good friends. We talk about things all the time, and one thing I haven't mentioned is it's a potential, it's a small, maybe 20% chance of somebody who might be able to get us very, 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 very preliminary way into some kind of Oscar party this weekend. I'm thinking, Kiefer Sutherland, Oscars, you know, okay, let's get real here. Maybe I could have one of you guys, like, make a song up about him. You know, like, he's a musician. He would dig that, right? Okay, now I'm into the stalker phase. We're moving along. Okay, whatever. Damn it. Thanks a lot, Deb. Get another person on my show, and I'm nowhere near closer. That's me. It's great. Thanks. Let's move along now that I'm pissy. Question, because we had started talking, of course, earlier, and I had mentioned the similarity of Brooks and Dunn. So my question to you is, for you personally, is it more critical for you to resemble, in your mind, are you saying to yourself, yeah, you know, if people can recognize me because of the fact that I resemble that kind of sound because they're kind of like country royalty, great. Or, again, would you rather set yourself out in the crowd as being unique and singular, which I'm guessing I know the answer, but go ahead.
Yeah, unique and singular for sure.
I figured that. Now, tell me something, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I don't try to be quite honest. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble from Deb or not for saying this, but
She's listening. Don't yell at him, Deborah, please. Okay, go ahead.
I don't
Go for it. She can't yell at you.
I don't listen to country music radio. I really can't stand mainstream country music radio.
Oh, my
Isn't that awful?
God, did you just
but
say
it's
that?
true.
Who says that? Who says that? That's not right. I'm going to pretend like you didn't say that. Wow. How come? Come on. Really?
I listen to my artists. So I listen to Keith. I listen to, this is my gym. This is my iPod. Okay, so I have Keith Urban. I have Miranda Lambert. I have Rhonda Vinson. I have Dolly Parton. as I'm pumping like 385 on the bench, this is what I'm listening to. Like, It's Raining on Sunday by Keith Urban. I find it hysterical. Because if people could actually hear what I'm listening to as I'm like bench pressing or squatting, they'd be like, okay, this doesn't really, what is going on here? But I guess it's kind of like why I love music, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And I can't hear another song with beer or truck or, I can't.
Thank you.
Can't do it. Right.
Thank you. Now she's going to hate me too because I've said it. I've said it in interviews. I'm like, really? My dog died, my cat died, my wife left, my uncle left. It's all sad, depressing. If I want to kill myself, I'll listen to country music. Oh, my God, she's going to kill me now. Thanks a lot. Now you got us both in trouble. Well, it's my show. What you can do, yell at me. That's interesting, though, because, like I said, that has come up before. And you know what? Even as an artist, though, I think you are entitled to your individuality as it relates to. Everybody likes a certain format or a certain, selection of music out there, what makes them feel good, what makes them feel alive, that kind of good stuff. Uniqueness. One thing I want to ask you, and I want you to answer honestly, is what do you think is unique about Steele in terms of either your stage presence, your personality, writing style? What sets you apart from the other guys out there, do you think?
Ooh, I would have to say my charisma, my passion, my emotion, my deliverance. I'm very, very dramatic when I perform, and I always say deliver a song because I think that's what great artists do. Dolly Parton delivers a song. Whitney Houston, she would deliver a song. Etta James delivers a song. Keith Urban delivers a song. Brad Paisley delivers a song. And, then the mainstream ones, to me, don't deliver a song. They're just saying it's marketable, it's, mainstream, I'm not convinced, so that's where I guess I stand with that.
Gotcha. Okay. Makes perfect sense to me. I understand exactly what you mean.
And that's why I don't, I say I don't listen to country music radio because when I sit down to write, I don't want to have Aldine or Church or McBride's tune in my head and that, I just don't want to be influenced by music that I don't like.
That makes sense. I would agree. And it's depressing. I'm going to reiterate that again, dude. I mean, I'd like to see country stay upbeat. The other day I was listening to, Marshall Bain, and a shameless plug. I know I'm not supposed to do that, but again, I plug people all the time. Alcohol abuse, I was listening to that. I listened to Brett Kingswell. I listened to all different kinds of country music, and the reality is it's not very often that it's the upbeat tempo sort of country pop thing. A lot of times I think they've gotten kind of stuck into that whole thing, so I would agree with that. I want to talk about another phase of you, because I know that most of the clusters of crowds that know you, of course, they know you through the eyes of the musician mirror and not from the side that's entrepreneurial, of course, because I was kind of surprised to find out that you had actually built a seafood restaurant. So I want to know how it is a guy will venture from being in hospitality to honky-tonk, basically. Well, and I know that's probably not the right term for your music, but, here you are doing this business, and then here you are into this music thing, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I can see both sides. I could see where you actually would be a musician and yet maintain a business, if not a secondary one. I mean, is that kind of what you're thinking down the road, or am I just completely off base here?
No, you're kind of on track. It all goes back to when I was a kid, and my dad saying, no one's going to give you anything. You have to earn everything, and I have thus far, for sure. I've worked really hard.
Okay.
So when I turned 18, I had the option to go to college or open a business of my own. Well, I really didn't want to work for anybody else, and so I haven't, and I've never had a boss. I've always been my own boss. And the reason I built the seafood restaurant was because I knew from a young age how much money it costs to play in this industry. And I say play because, to be a player, it's a business. It costs a lot of money for promotion, for marketing, for everything, for recording, for videos. Like, it's not cheap. I know, Deb, we talked about it. And, where I came from in a small fishing town, I knew nobody was going to give me any money because most of them didn't have any. So I wanted to earn my own to be able to take myself to Nashville, record with a big producer and great musicians, and that's exactly what I did.
And look at that, and here you are now. And now so now is the restaurant still in existence and you're still running this, or what's the status of that? I was curious about that.
Oh yeah, so I've had it for well, I built it when I was 18, so I've had it for 3 years.
Right.
Right. So
I was going to wait for that bullshit, but okay, yeah. Nice.
And I have a great team at home who runs it for me. I have a wonderful, she's like my work wife. Her name is Anna Friday, and she runs my life, my restaurant, music, the works. She is my brain, really. Without her, I wouldn't kind of operate or exist. And actually, her and I, last year, it'll be a year ago in May, we opened a gourmet dog bakery as well. So,
really?
And, yeah. And I'm actually this afternoon going to look at a restaurant that's released here. I'm kind of thinking of opening a seafood restaurant here in Hamilton, Ontario, too. So.
Oh, my God, look at that. So I am on the mark of this. Look at that. That's amazing. And what's the name of the restaurant? If anybody wants to go to your restaurant already established, shameless plug, throw it out there.
It's Wharf Seafood Restaurant in Fisherman's Cove in Eastern Passage, Nova Scotia.
I can't even pronounce that, but okay. I'm sure whoever lives out there, you know where the hell it is, because I wouldn't even know where that is, actually. Okay, so enough about your business side of things. Let's go back to Mr. Hunky musician guy that everybody likes here. A couple of fascinating facts about you that I personally just happen to like. First of all, I know that you've spoken before about being a fan of Nashville as it relates to getting into the music industry. And some of the best friends and people close to my heart actually live in Memphis. So hence, I, of course, absolutely love that state as a whole. I am curious, though, to ask this. Tell me why Nashville, in your opinion, holds the key to a singer's success. Because I look at this and I say to myself, and I've been told this, there's a collectively large amount of competition that's there, which might kind of mar the chances of becoming popular. So I guess I'm curious as to your take on why you think success can be garnished there, irregardless.
Well, it's where it's where you play ball. That's where they play major ball, is in Nashville. You know, all of the labels there, all of even the independent labels that are even larger than the majors now. If you look at Broken Bow or with Aldine and those guys are kind of running the show. Nashville it's a big place, but it's a small place. So you just need, for me, you need to be there, even, if you're not doing a songwriter's night out or circle, you just need to live there because people live there too. Like, record execs are at the Tin Roof having lunch and you need to be, and for me, like you see my picture, you see my tats, you see my, my face, you see the size of me. People see me for the most part, remember me. If they see me again, they will remember me. So, for instance, I have a good friend in Green Hills where most of the stars shop and eat, and, you'll see Nicole Kidman at Whole Foods, or you'll see Keith Urban at Starbucks. So just being there, and having lunch out with my friend Ellen, 4 or 5 times a week, then when I see Tim McGraw and Faith Hill at the food company, and I open the door, he's like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, not bad, Tim, how are you? So it's just being there and kind of being a part of Nashville. And it's also making connections. It's networking, and that's where the major network is. It comes down to money and who knows who,
Yeah. Well,
just like any business.
You really want to know? Because I can give my opinion. I'm really big on giving opinion. Well, I've been in the industry for 2 years. So, the people that I talk to, publicists and musicians are one small part. And then I have a whole other gamut, I have a whole show dedicated to Sons of Anarchy. So there's a lot of politics and a lot of actors that goes into that. And yes, to a degree, I think you are right. I think that mass popularity oftentimes is found by who you know and how you work the system. I am 100% a non-advocate of that belief, though. I think it's completely wrong and inappropriate. I don't think enough indie artists get attention and or opportunity because the wheels move in such a fashion. You know what I mean? So I agree with you. You know, there's some that come on my show that are from New York. They're like, this is the place to be for music. And then I'll talk in California, and they're like, oh, this is the place to be. You know, every place is the place to be for music. I think my feeling is that not only do, you know, you have to know the right people, but it can be a combination of working the system the right way, bringing a product that's unique and ordinary, and I think that our media has to be, and that includes me, you know, we need to step it up. We need to make sure that we're exposing, you know, umpteen amounts of people per year, and it gives that every opportunity to every artist, not just the people that are supposedly well-known, or in your particular case, you know, let's face it, you walk into a room and the women are just like falling like flies. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You add in the talent, you add in the looks, and then you add in the charisma factor. You would succeed even if you had nobody talking to you right now. That's just a given, but that's just my opinion. I'm just a lowly radio show host who's probably in trouble now with Deb. Thanks a lot. I want to talk about, I'm really riding her today. She's going to be like, I hate her. I want to talk about this because I'm a big, you think I'm kidding? She'll whoop my ass. She ain't like that. Her and I are very much the same brain. If she's got something to say to me, she says it. I got something to say to her, I say it, and then I do it to her guests, and then she probably gets mad, but we'll find out when I'm done. I want to talk about this because it's important, or at least it's important to me, and I think it'll be important to these people to listen. I'm a big subscriber to the Pay It Forward, period. So therefore, maybe you could just talk a little bit to the audience about that impromptu. You did a Vietnamese concert, impromptu. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I was supposed to go to Vietnam to do a big show. I'd been chosen as the male artist from Canada to do a big international music festival. They were picking a male and a female artist from every country, like 42 countries. They were going to have a big festival, and that was supposed to happen. Well, a huge flood happened, and they canceled the festival. So I said to my manager at the time, why don't we do a benefit concert to raise some money for them? So we went to the Vietnamese government with that, and they were shocked. Because it's a communist country, no one's really ever helped them. You know, a benefit concert is like not even in the realm of their thinking, right? So this, and the political ties between Canada and Vietnam were really sketchy at that point. Something had happened with a Canadian being killed, this artwork, and it was a kind of a nightmare. So they saw this as a way to kind of catch that political relationship and bring music to Vietnam. So we did 2 shows. We did one in Saigon, or Ho Chi Minh City, as they call it, and then one in Hanoi, the capital. With I starred, and then there were Mai Tam is her name. She's like the largest pop star in Asia. We did a duet together in Vietnamese that I was told 2 days before the show that I had to learn, which is quite an interesting story. We don't have enough time for that. So we did 2 big shows. We raised $120,000. We took a bus south. On the way we stopped, and we bought $20,000 worth of like baby clothes and toiletries and personal, you know, hygiene kind of items.
Right.
And then there was 400 families directly affected by the flood. So we enveloped up 400 envelopes with the money. We took a boat up a river for about an hour and a half, which was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire life. We arrived to the area that had the most flooding, the 400 families, and they were waiting on the riverbank for me. So I got out, and I personally handed them a bag of goods and then an envelope of money, and it was a life-changing experience for me. You know, there's a language barrier there, of course, and just to have these people so grateful with tears in their eyes and holding my hand and not wanting to let it go, and it's just life-altering. And it's one of the best things I've ever done in my life, and that's what I want to do with my music. I want to be able to I'd love to go back there and build a school. You know, I'd love to. That's kind of who I am. Like you say, pay it forward. That's me. That's, you know,
and I love seeing that. I do. I absolutely love that, and don't lose that quality. I've said that to many people before too, because I've noticed that some of my best gal pals who are on TV, and it's refreshing to see them do it. They do it because they choose to. They do it, and they also do it without a fee. Nowadays, it's very rare. The higher up you get on the hierarchy, I mean, you're paying through the nose to get somebody to do something for charity. It's kind of disheartening, actually. So I like that quality about you. Kudos to you. I like 2 things about you so far. We're going well. I'm kidding. Of course. Okay, I'll give him maybe 3. We'll see how the last 2 questions go. Okay.
Yeah.
Since my job is to be a journalist, of course, I kind of dug in and I found some of the things that you've done before, which is Love Like This, Don't Drink and Text, like that one, Private Road, and, of course, the newest single, No Bones. I want to ask, first of all, tell me which song, and this is to date for your entire repertoire, encapsulates the very heart of you. Which song? If I were to say this encompasses your sound, your meaning, it speaks to you, period. Which one?
No Bones. No Bones.
Hmm.
My newest single, No
Interesting.
Bones, yeah.
Okay. Secondary question. Would you consider your music to be more modern or classic country? Would you consider it to be no country? What would your genre be if I were to ask? Because I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure other people know either.
No, you know, it's Steele country. it's just a whole mix of,
cute.
you know, yeah, there's traditional there. There's new. There's a little bit of rock feel. There's a little bit of R&B feel. I do like to keep traditional in my music. On the album, the current album, and all of the new music, like every song has a banjo on it. You know, there's fiddle, there's mandolin. Like those instruments will always be in my music. Like I love acoustic instruments. I'm not a big fan of a lot of electric instruments, synthesizers and things like that. That doesn't do anything for me. And that's not what my music's about. Like I write organic. I want organic. If I had to use a sound, it would be like organic country.
Look at that. Now, have you gotten to the stages of it yet? And I've heard that this is when you know you're starting to become successful, when your fans of the individuals that come to your shows. Are they lip-syncing you yet?
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen to him. Yeah, absolutely. Like, why wouldn't they? Hello. I mean, I'm Steele, and I've been around for like 30 years. Good answer.
Okay, it's my mom.
Yeah. Okay, what can I say? You know, do you ever, and this is, again, another personal question, is it ever strange for you, because I know obviously I've said this before, until I did my book, I'd never listened to a radio show I've ever done in 2 years. Is it ever strange for you to listen to yourself, meaning listen to you sing, watch yourself on a video? Are you more accustomed to it now, or is it still kind of weird, like, yeah, you know, you're critiquing everything and that kind of stuff?
No, I'm over that. Over it.
Wow.
Because I know one
Look at this
final
guy.
product that I have, you know, I've been fortunate to work with Kent Wells, who's a Grammy-nominated producer. He's Dolly Parton's producer.
Sure.
You know, Garth's fiddle player's on the album, Taylor Swift's guitar player, Lady and the Bellum's drummer, and I'm not dropping any more names because you'll need a broom. But it's just to have that network of people, you know, via Kent, who took me under his wing. I know my finished product will be the very best that I can do and that he can do because his name's on it as well. And so when I listen to my finished product, I'm proud of it.
Makes perfect sense. Case in point, what we're about to listen to. Well, and the thing is, too, I myself, maybe it's just me, but I'm a huge fan of fiddles. Just huge. I don't know why more country music doesn't incorporate that kind of sound in music and such, but I don't know. For some strange reason, they just don't, and I'm a little disappointed by that. I think that, you know, any form of, it's just nicer. Do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it's one of my favorite.
And that was going to be my next question to you, was down the road, are you envisioning yourself adding in more musical work? I mean, not musical work, you know what I mean, just more music as far as other instruments, etc., besides what you're utilizing now?
Yeah, I can see. I'm really a big fan of the cello.
Oh, nice.
Which is fun. It's part of the, you know, it's part of the woodwind, and you know, it's part of like the fiddle. I love the cello because, you know, when you hit that low note, it's like a hug. You know, it just grabs you and like shakes you. You know, when you're in a room with a cello, it's like the most amazing thing that you've ever experienced.
I agree 100%. I do. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to give you a 3-minute break because I'm going to actually play you, so then everybody has to listen to you as well as me, and I can listen to your song again. And we'll see what everybody thinks. This is called No Bones, of course, and this is the one that encapsulates him best. So let's take a listen.
This is my story. little house and big dreams. I gotta start with something. I gotta walk a mile in my daddy's shoes. He knew what to do. That's why Mama said I do. I've got something to learn about that. I got something to learn about that. I got something to learn about that. You work hard, you play tough, you get a pretty girl with a little love. You stand strong and stand proud when you're on your solid ground, yeah. And make no bones about that. And make no bones about that. And make no bones about that. This is my small town. This is where I come from. And I never change that. This is who I am. This is the real me. And I make no bones about that. And I make no bones about that. And I make no bones about that. Oh yeah, I work hard, I play tough. I got a pretty girl with a little love. I stand strong and stand proud. And I'm on my solid ground, yeah. I make no bones about that. And I make no bones about that. I make no bones about that. Any luck, hope not too long, a little me will come along, and I'll tell him this someday. I'll tell him this someday. It's what my daddy used to say. You gotta work hard, play tough, you'll get a pretty girl with a little love. Stand strong and be proud when you're on your solid ground, yeah. And make no bones about that. And make no bones about that. And make no bones about that. This is who I am. This is the real me. I make no bones about that.
So I mean by the gruff, you get it?
Yes, got it.
Totally gruff, completely. He's totally gruff. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this, and then you're finally almost done with me. I bet you're thinking, God, this could go on forever, and thank God she's finishing, right?
No, this is actually my most favorite interview I've ever done in my whole career.
Oh, my God. What is it about me? People keep saying this. I had an actor tell me this the other day. He literally had said, this was the most spectacular, most flattering, nicest interview. And, you know, when you start, to me, every person that comes on this show is a celebrity already. You don't have to have a title. You don't have to make $1 million. It's because of what you do professionally and personally that makes you a celebrity. So I take my job very seriously. I take representing you very seriously. And when I hear that, I will probably cry when I get off the air, but don't tell anyone that, because that would infer that I have emotion and I'm not a smart ass all the time. So shh, don't tell anyone. Now, I want to do a shameless plug for this guy, which I will shortly, but just so you people know. Apparently, Boots Shall Behold Steele CD release party, which I know is March 15th. The work is entitled Canvas. So maybe if you could just tell everybody, first of all, in our neck of the woods, meaning here in Wisconsin, because I'm a Midwestern girl, usually CD release equates to different things, which is, of course, you're going to be singing, of course, you're going to be presenting new work, and moreover, it's an actual big reason for musicians to get together and do an open jam. Is that pretty much what can be expected there, or what's going to happen that evening? Just tell folks what they can be in store for.
Yeah, there's going to be, playing of the album, all of the tracks from the album. For my CD release back in Halifax, a big part of it is going to be for media and industry professionals there. I've been really focused on Nashville and the U.S. and Central Canada for the most part. Now, I come from Halifax originally, but I'm not really in the industry there, so it's important for me to introduce myself to my home music industry, my East Coast music industry. And this would be a way for them to be introduced to me as well, and hopefully start some new relationships within the industry out on the coast.
Okay, gotcha. And of course, obviously, you'll be there, looking very intimidating with all the cool tattoos and everything else. Okay. Now, before I let you go, there's a couple business matters, and then you can get on to your business. Since apparently they tell me I got another show after this, so I'm going to have to be as entertaining to Mr. Producer, and I'm so nervous about this one. You think I'm nervous now? Give me an hour. You'll see I am. Oh, wait, you won't be listening to me. That's right. I don't want to forget to mention that Steele can be found in the following places. YouTube, obviously, iTunes. He has a Twitter handle, which is @ThisIsSteele, which is all one word. And by the way, folks, it's Steele with an E. We want to be sure that we distinctively make sure that we know him. www.thisissteele.com. Apparently, he has a Facebook page, which I've liked, but I don't know if he has a personal page, so we'll find out about that. Are there any other ways to find you social media-wise?
I think that's it. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, yeah, that's covered.
I think. Don't ever do that in another interview. I said that to somebody the other day, too. I'm like, don't ever tell an interviewer, yeah, I guess. Is that where I am? Well, what the hell? You're you. If you don't know where you are, how am I supposed to promote you? Hello? Now, before I forget, I forgot to ask them.
Anna Friday.
Whatever. Oh, my God. No. I've saved the best for last.
Right.
Let's don't even go there. That's it. He's never coming back, Deb. Okay? Never bringing this guy back. Never. All right. Before I forget to ask the most important question of the entire day, because I know that there are people listening and they want answers to this question, so you better pony it up. I have to ask the obvious question, which is this. You're going to either break hearts or make people's day. So the million-dollar question is, are you or aren't you?
I am.
As in?
Married.
Girls, cross your fingers. Oh, now everybody's going to cry. Now you just broke hearts all over the world. Did you really have to do that? Nice guess, Deb. Way to go. Okay. So, yeah, the guy's married. So, basically what it comes down to is that you should go see him so you can drool over him and pretend like you don't like him, enjoy his gruff-sounding music, blah-blah-blah-blah-blah. Now, the very last thing that I need to do is, just so you know this, in case you want to tell your fans and followers, about a half hour after the show gets done, it automatically gets archived, so people can go back and listen to it all year round. There is a potential, and I'm not saying yes or no right now because, let's get real, I don't know at this point. But after a year of shows goes by, it's possible you might be asked by me, I might be doing my 5th book, and my 5th book would be a compilation of everybody that I've interviewed over the course of the last year. So if indeed I do that, hopefully you would want to be a part of that. I don't know yet because it's a lot of work. And I just finished my 4th one. And by the way, Deborah is in my book, in case you didn't know that. Yes, that's right. She's in a book. Yeah, that's right. She's in my last book because I like her so darn much. So, yes, you may want to give that some thought, obviously. So the very last 30 seconds of my show is always done for the same thing, which is this. I am going to make you be quiet, and you're going to listen to me because now I'm going to tell you what I think of you. This is always standard format for my show, the last 60 seconds. I'm going to let you know and let your fans know exactly my impressions of you from start to finish, and then I'll let you go on your merry way. How's that sound?
It sounds great.
Yay! Okay, wonderful. So this guy named Steele comes onto my show. I don't know a darn thing about him, and I'm not going to lie about this because I really didn't. I started doing internet research, and I'm like, dude's not even pulling up in a search. This isn't a good sign. So I go to Deborah, of course, and she sends me all this wonderful stuff, and I start researching, and I start listening, and I start making observations. This is what I found out about this young man, and I say young because you are young, 10-some years senior. Gruff voice, very confident, very competent. These are 3 qualities that I like in any individual. You are certain of what you're doing. You're on a set stable course for success because you've already invested time, effort, and a lot of yourself into doing things. You've been given the right perspective as it relates to a rearing side of things and kind of growing up and learning that, yes, there is a business side to this, but I do believe that the part and parcel of you also has this whole musician side that's just dying to come out. And I know this because I've listened to your music, and I've listened to your sound, and I've listened to who you are. I think that you probably are very delightful in person because you try not to take yourself, hopefully, too seriously. I get that you have a great sense of humor. I get that you have a great personality. You're seemingly very headstrong, which is a good thing. And I like I like the confidence, but not the cocky. There's a difference between the two. And I think that the best way to become celebrity status is to not lose sight of who you are to begin with, to not get too over or full of yourself, to be able to tell yourself your own joke, and to be able to walk into a room and to personify what people can relate to. It's very, very touching that you want to touch your audiences, that you want them to get a message from what you do, and that you want to be liked by your community. And I like the fact that you want to continue paying it forward. I find you to be uniquely original. I still find you to sound like Brooks and Dunn, but my hope and intention is over the course of time that you establish yourself to be this country bad boy / good boy. That's what I'm going to call you. The good and the bad all kind of combined together. I don't necessarily dig the whole fact that you're living in a gym, but it is what it is. Maybe someday we'll walk into a gym and we're going to look up and find one of your videos on a screen, which would be awesome. I think you've been lovely. I think you've taken a joke well, and I think that I would be very offended if you don't promise me that you'll come back successful, moderately successful, huge celebrity. Just come back and visit me because you've made me feel so special by your words. How's that?
Oh, that's fantastic, and I would love to come back and visit you. Absolutely.
Yay! And I got the Steele word right, so yeah, I got bragging rights for today. I'm going to talk about that on my next show. So yes, please keep that in mind, and thank you so much to Deborah before I forget, and thank you so much for giving me the extra time. I know we ran over by a little bit, but I was just so entertained that I had to do it. So I appreciate your time, and I'm crossing my fingers, and I do look forward to meeting you in person. I would love that.
Oh, thank you so much, Cindy. It was a blast.
Thank you so much, dear. You have yourself a great day, and I'll be talking to you soon.
You too, sweetheart. Take care.
Thanks. Mr. Steele, and that's Steele with the S-T-E-E-L-E. Before I forget, www. Let me look it up here. I got ahead of myself here. www.thisissteele.com. He does happen to have a Facebook page, also YouTube and iTunes. If you want to follow him on Twitter, it's @ThisIsSteele, and that's S-T-E-E-L-E. Please, please, please make it a point to go ahead and check him out. Go ahead and listen to his music. Obviously, you could hear by the sound of the song today, No Bones, absolutely wonderful. And again, he's got March 15th where he's got a CD release party. So if you're in the area, please go ahead and attend. I'm going to let you all go because in less than an hour, approximately 45 minutes, we're going to be interviewing Jose Prendez, which is an actual writer, director, and producer. So many exciting things to talk about. Thank you guys so much for the time. Thank you so much to Deborah for another kick-ass interview, and I'll catch you guys in less than an hour.
What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff by singing Dog. Bye, Goal.
I pronounce you.
Bye, wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really? Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff by singing Dog. Bye, Goal.
I pronounce you.
Bye, wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really? Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.